I mean, there's lots of suggestions that people want to see Boris Johnson on the ballot paper, that members feel that they should have a say. I mean, do you think that's plausible? Do you think, in many ways, actually maybe this should be revisited?
Well, like I said to you, Darren, I think the Conservative Party will regret what happened over recent months to Boris Johnson. Unfortunately, I think we're at a point now where we are past the point of no return. I don't think that is now feasible, but I do think we could, in theory, if things go the wrong way, be looking back in a couple of years' time. And I think there'll be certain people, particularly certain members of Parliament, who should be looked at and should bear the responsibility of where we could get to in 2 years' time if it does go wrong, because I don't think we had to end up here. But unfortunately, we are where we are, and I don't think that is likely or really plausible to be reversed.
Who are you talking about, Ben? You keep alluding to these people, but I mean, who are you talking about?
But there have been lots of people in Parliament that have stood against Boris Johnson since the day he became Prime Minister, and there's been a huge undermining of his authority, irrespective of his insurgency, his new policy agenda for things like levelling up, for rebalancing the country, for having a pride and an optimism that we haven't seen in this country for a long, long time, because for some reason certain politicians think we need to be almost embarrassed of being British. He got rid of a lot of that. So there were Conservative MPs on the backbenches who continued to undermine the Prime Minister. I also think there is a very London-centric view of Boris Johnson that doesn't necessarily reflect across the country. I'm not saying everybody in the rest of the country loves Boris Johnson, but London has a very peculiar view of Boris, and I think there is a mainstream media / Whitehall view that sees him as the pariah, when actually there is a much more nuanced conversation to have about Boris Johnson.
OK, and just very finally, and quickly if you can as well, Ben, just about Nadine Dorries' tweet, I'm sure you saw it earlier on, attacking Rishi Sunak for his Prada shoes, which cost hundreds of pounds in comparison to Liz Truss's Claire's accessories earrings. I mean, is that helpful in a leadership race, these kind of blue-on-blue attacks?
Well, I was with Rishi in Teesside when he had those shoes on, and I must say mine only cost £25 from Marks and Spencer's. So, you know, wearing Prada shoes on a building site probably isn't necessarily the smartest thing to do. However, it's pretty churlish, isn't it? It doesn't really necessarily get to those important points around tax cuts, around the benefits of Brexit, around policy. It's not particularly helpful. And I would also always take the opportunity to remind people, including Nadine, who put that tweet out, that Teesside is spelt with 2 S's and not 1.